weren't so surprised, because my philosophy, my belief matches yours, is that in order for us to create the change we want to see in the world, we have to have more meaningful conversations with the people in our lives. We have to be the change we want to see. We've got to be authentic. And then we want the people around us to benefit from what we know and what we do, and be an example of what we know and what we do. And so what I'm going to take you through in the time I have chat, because I was playing about with this notion of AI and chat GPT. Have you all heard of that? Yeah?
Yeah.
People going,
Yeah.
might have heard of it. I'm very cynical about artificial intelligence. Because one, it's not artificial. Someone made it, it's real. And two, it's not intelligent. Because intelligence is driven not only by fact, but by emotions and experience and context. And intelligence it's diverse and it's flexible. And no matter how many algorithms and how many things you feed information into a machine, it can never wrap around that its own experience. It can't actually add anything to that. All it can do is use an algorithm to build around it. And so I thought to myself, well, people still, even though you have AI, people still ask me questions. So that's got to be a good sign. And so I'm going to start calling myself Dr. Chat GPT. Because I add my emotions and my experience to my intellect, and I'm not artificial. I'm right here in the room with you. And so, told you you're not normal, and you're not. But there's a big difference between what's common and what's normal. And this, for me, has been a real rally call that I've been behind for a number of years now, is to make people stop and pay attention and look at the world. And there are little things that have become so common that we now think it's just normal. One of those things is this poor state of health all around the world. Earlier this afternoon, when your day commenced and you were listening to inspiring people talk, I took a walk to the high street. I do that everywhere I go, because I want to learn, I want to understand what messages do you get where you live, and is it any different to anywhere else? And I walk down the road, and I want to see who owns the conversation when it comes to food, when it comes to health. And I saw your pharmacy, which literally has offers on pain medication. 3 for 2, 2 for 1, 30% off. I want you to remember, these are where you go to buy over-the-counter drugs, and they're making you offers. Then you've got Burger King, you've got Espresso House, you've got lots of takeaway food places. All the things I see everywhere I go. And this is now so common, we think it's normal. But it's not. The fact that every single non-communicable disease is increasing every year, despite how much we know, despite our advances in medicine, despite our advances in research and in science, is common, but it's not normal. And I want you to ask yourself this. When you leave your house to go to work or to school or wherever it is, how many, you don't need to put your hand up, and I know you're reluctant anyway. If ever there was a nation that would be hard to interrogate, it's the Finnish. But how many of you think, or have, left for work, and in your bag on your person, you'll have some paracetamol, or you'll have some ibuprofen, some anti-inflammatories, just in case you get a headache, just in case. There are so many people, in fact, the vast majority are leaving their homes to embrace the day with the realistic expectation that they might have such pain that they'll need to take medication. That's common, but that's not normal. But it's become so common, we think it's normal. And then something else, and this is certainly true in the UK and Ireland and Sweden and Norway and France and Portugal and all these countries I've been to. If you go to work or to school or wherever it is and you haven't got any, and you get a headache, you're really comfortable saying to someone, do you have any paracetamol on you? And they're really comfortable going, yeah, there you go, have some. We've all become really comfortable with being drug dealers for each other. Yeah, I'll take my drugs. I'll take some of your drugs tomorrow, no problem. This is common, but it's not normal. And the state that we're in, with regards to our health, the types of foods we prefer, our attitude about foods, it's become really common, such to the extent we think it's normal. And I want you never, ever to stop being shocked. When you see these things, as I do, I want you to pay attention and go, what? This is bizarre. You can't do this. Isn't right. How can we be in this position? Because one of my favorite photographs of all time that sums up the place we find ourselves in the 21st century when it comes to diet and health and nutrition is this. Stuck between a rock and a hard place. One industry that is guaranteed to make you need the other one. Both of which are based off ultra-processed food options, that neither of which have really thought about health. They've just thought about a problem. One's actually thought about the problem because they created it, and the other one's thought about the problem because they know they can make money off people trying to fix it. But this, to me, and I want to point out, they're actually parked in what we call a disabled spot. So the person who was driving this vehicle couldn't get close enough to McDonald's. They didn't want to spend any extra energy walking in before they took on that high calorific meal. And I've got a reputation for saying a lot of bad things about places like this. And I'm going to carry on today. Me go, please, this can't be true. So back in 2020, when the world went into lockdown, and gradually they started to unlock and allow people back into open spaces, and countries handled it in very different ways. But in the UK and Ireland, we locked down. You were confined to home. And they gradually started to release things. And one of the first things they released were these places. And let me show you what happened to the UK when they did this. This happened. And actually, the average time a person spent waiting to consume was 4 hours. Sat in their cars, causing roadblocks all over the nation. This one here is actually, I live in a tiny village, and just over the other side, about 5 kilometers away, there is a retail park. And they locked the retail park so much that the other businesses just closed. The other restaurants, they just closed. Because nothing could move. No one could get in. And the average time spent waiting to go and get your favourite, whatever it might be, was 4 hours. Now I've got 3 children. I love them dearly. They were all 5 years younger back then. But the prospect of being trapped in a car with them for 4 hours, whilst we waited to go and buy some of the world's worst food, is torturous. But people did this. Imagine the mindset that sees this queue and says, yeah, I'm going to wait. Yeah, that's how I'm going to spend the day. I know we've been locked up at home, we've been contained, and we can't see our friends and our family, and we haven't been able to go to work, and the economy's down the pan, and everyone's terrified. The best thing I can do, 4 hours in a car, waiting for a really bad burger. That's what I can do. It's crazy, isn't it? Clear about food, what food means to us. And we have this notion about sport and exercise. And today, it's been a joy. I've been able to see lots of exercise and sport taking place here, with lots of children involved. It's great. But let's have a look at the impact these have. We are passionate as societies about cooking. We consume it. When I took my walk, I went to a lovely bookshop here in the centre, and I went to have a look at the different sections. I can't speak or read Finnish, so I was just looking at the pictures. But we consume cooking, we watch it on TV, we buy books, downloads, videos. It's entertainment, we watch competitions on TV. It's cultural, it's fashionable, and it inspires us. There are TV chefs who are known the world over. We have one from the UK who is huge in America and all over the UK and Ireland called Gordon Ramsay. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you something about Gordon Ramsay. I've raced him several times at half marathon distance and at Ironman distance. And I'm really proud to say that every time I beat him. And he's an amazing person, by the way. But it was personal satisfaction just to beat him. I didn't care about anyone else. But he is an incredible person. But yet, when we study this, there is no evidence that these TV shows, books, everything else make people cook more. In fact, the statistics are that every year, families are spending less time cooking, less time preparing their own meals. Less and less time. Which is interesting, because one of the key features that sells a house is the kitchen. So people want a nice kitchen, but they just don't want to cook. That says a lot about where we are. Sport. I love sport. We consume it. It's entertainment. It's fashionable. It's inspiring. People love sports stories. That last-minute drop-kick goal, Johnny Wilkinson, 2003, Rugby World Cup, in Sydney, Australia, against the Australians, over the top, in the last few seconds. I'm getting goosebumps now. We beat the Australians at home and took home the World Cup. Live with me forever. And yet, we watch it in our billions. I've been in Olympic stadiums when the crowd are cheering all out of their seats. We know that the World Cup, 3.5 billion people watch it around the world. Tour de France, 2.6 billion. The Olympic Games, 2 billion. We go all the way through. Even cricket, arguably the most boring sport in the world. Even they get 400 million watching the World Cup. 400 million people who are struggling to get to sleep and watch cricket to help them. No, but seriously. Huge. When I worked with Under Armour, helping them to do some tech around their clothes, they said, we are not a brand for fit people. We are a brand for aspirational people. You don't need to be fit to wear our clothes, you just have to be aspirational. And I went, why is it all so tight then? Why are all the models ripped up six-pack with muscles? So have you thought about your audience? But they're right. 97% of all sport clothing goes to non-sports people. That's a fact. So, TV chefs, that's not the missing piece. It's not TV that's going to fix the world when it comes to its nutritional health. And it's certainly not sport. I've been involved in sport all my life. All my life. And every year, the numbers participating goes down, whilst the numbers watching goes up. People love to sit at home on the sofa with a few beers and a big bag of potato chips and watch their favourite sports stars. That's the reality. Who is the missing piece? Well, you are. You're the missing piece. I'm the missing piece. Because you are the people who are having conversations with people every day and empowering them to actually do something that can improve their health and wellness and unlock their potential. They're not going to be inspired. Doesn't matter how big the star is, doesn't matter how impressive the TV show is. Most cookbooks don't get read. They look through and go, that looks so tasty, let's go to the shop and buy something. That's the reality. But you are the missing piece. Someone asked me earlier on, if you don't mind me talking about this, someone asked me, when you left the university, did your colleagues, did they think you'd gone crazy? Were they surprised? They were surprised. Announced it was a direct sales company. They were like, what are you doing this for? But each and every time someone has said to me, really? It's taken me less than 2 minutes to explain why. And it was simple. If I step across here and do this, I can start to change hundreds, thousands of lives tomorrow. If I stay here and keep doing this, I'll be really proud of myself if I change 100 lives ever. And I didn't get into this for fancy titles and for people to go, oh, professor, doctor, I don't care. I'm all right, I'm confident. I don't need a big ego. I'm okay. I got into all this because I constantly looked around and went, why aren't we doing this better? We're better than this. We need to help each other out. That's what we need to do. And I long ago realized that all these big inspirational things on TV, they were nothing more than big inspirational things on TV. I promise you now, each and every person in this room, you have way more impact than any of those people in a real world basis. And so, to me, it was really simple. You're the missing link. I help you because you're the one who's doing all the magic stuff. And the reality is, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. And I love this phrase because what it means is get up and get active straight away, first thing in the morning. Get up and on it. Start to make a difference. Don't be waiting. Don't wait for the right time. The right time is not a place, it's a choice. The right time is right now. Because all you ever have is right now. And we can debate, and I've been a part of a lot of forums where we debate. I've been in the Westminster Forum, I've been in National Health Service forums, I've been in huge, big global health strategy forums where we debate and we talk, and we debate and we talk, and most of them are meetings that should have been emails. And still nothing really happens. So what we need to do is be the change we want to see. You just need to go, right, start with me. I take my balance oil, I do this, I implement the health protocol this way, I benefit this way, here's why I think you should do it. Here's what I've experienced, and here's what the science says. So, would you be the most confident people in the world? If I was to walk up to you and I said, right then, you've just joined, let me think, who's the best football team in the world ever? Liverpool. So, I've now recruited you all to Liverpool, and I give you your Liverpool top with your number and go, well done, you're part of the team. You would then quite rightly go, I've just joined one of the biggest football teams of all time. I must be good. You believe in yourself. So now I'm going to spend the next 23 minutes convincing you why you should believe in yourself. And I say this all the time, and there's people filming it. Put me on any stage in front of any group of people, anywhere in the world, with any other manufacturer of food supplements, and I will stand and look them in the eye, and I will explain to them why we're better than them. We are the best at what we do, which therefore means you're the best at what you do. Never lose confidence in what you're doing. We distinguish ourselves as a leader because we have a unique blend of scientific rigor, personalized health solutions, and we have measurable outcomes. I've been talking about this lot. Test, test, test. Scientific, evidence-based, backed test measures to check a status and do something about it. And you might say, well, there's lots of companies that say they do that, and that's true. There are lots of companies that say they do that. But the standards are different. There are lots of universities in the world. There are lots of universities in every country. But there's only a top 10 that captures all the best in the world, and at any time there's only a top 1. And the difference between a first position globally ranked university and a second, third or fourth is all about consistency of standards in what you do, your discipline over the choices you make. And that's Zinzino, and this has happened several times. A couple of years ago, we were developing a product. We flew out hundreds of boxes to Mexico to the director trip because we were going to get everybody there to sample it. And 2 days before I got on the plane to Mexico, the research that we collaborated with had finalized the results. And they said it doesn't work. It doesn't do what we think we wanted it to do. And so I flew to Mexico. And I've got to go and explain to Doug, the CEO, and Orion, the founder, that all these boxes that we brought over doesn't work. And so I went up to them and I said, right, listen, I know we brought them all here. Here's the results. It's not good enough. Without a blink, in less than 2 heartbeats, Orion said, no problem. Just leave them in the boxes. I then went and told Doug. I said, Doug, I've already told Orion, doesn't do what we hoped it would do. And he said, okay, that's no problem. No one knew they were going to get it anyway. It's okay. Leave them in the boxes. 2 separate conversations with the founder and the CEO of the company who responded to what the science said. Despite the fact that we spend so much time, resources and cost, even just bringing out the samples. It's a done deal. If it's not backed by the science, we don't do it. When I first joined Zinzino, one of the missions I was given was to pick up this project of the gut health test and deliver it. And they were like, this is what we want. We've looked at certain things, but we need someone to pick it up. And I said, okay, we can do this, we can do it for sure, we can do it the way you want to do it, but it's going to take time. And both Doug and Orin said, well, we've got time. Just make sure that we do it better than anybody else. And every year we've updated and we've checked and we've added resources to it, and that project has gone along. And every year people have wanted us to announce this project and say that it's happening. And who knows? This year, our annual event might be the year. Might be. Some would say it definitely will be, but I'm just saying might be for now. If you really want to find out, you need to book yourself a ticket to go to the annual event. All I'm going to say is it might be worth your while. And that takes me basically into this. We're going to go through a list now. And these are all, by the way, verifiable. So you can actually go to your favorite AI, you can go on to metrics, which is an algorithm that's set into Google, and you can say, okay, does this stack up? Is this true? Can you compare this way? And here we go. So we use at-home blood tests, and we partnered with the world's leading laboratory with regards to dry blood spot samples. Now I know, you'll meet people who go, never heard of them. That's their problem. Despite my accent, despite the fact we've just won the Premiership, I go to parts of the world and people don't know who Liverpool Football Club are. That's okay. It doesn't stop us being amazing. We just carry on being amazing. So I understand that people will not know. It's your part is to educate them. And the single best thing you can ever do, if someone says, is that laboratory any good, is go, listen, you don't need me to tell you, go and take a look. Go onto the VITAS website, click on research and staff, look at over 200 peer-reviewed publications in the single best journals in the world and counting. Look at the funding that they've received centrally through the EU, and look at the partnerships with Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford, MIT, all the rest. And then show me another lab that has the same. And it answers itself. Our tests guide through personalisation of supplements, and right now, today, we're over this. We're over 1.4 million independently analysed and verified samples. And that paper, the first paper based on this database, was submitted maybe 2.5 months ago. We've received feedback from the 10 most recognised experts, scientific experts on the work we've done. We've responded to that feedback, submitted it, so that will be in the peer review, in the scientific press, anytime soon. Right. So when people say, show me the research, you'll be able to go, well, there you go. Yes. It's in one of the best nutrition journals in the world. And there they are. See these authors? That's the CPO. That's the chief researcher. There's the senior researcher. There's the research. Is that what you wanted? And it's on a vast database. I mean, when I joined Zinzino, they had 500,000 samples in the database. And I was bowled over. Wow, that's immense. Pretty soon, within the next month, we'll be at 1.5 million. And the rate at which we're getting these tests is increasing. So it won't be long until I'm coming in front of rooms and saying, we've got 2 million tests, 3 million tests, 10 million tests. Because the rate at which we are testing people is increasing all the time. And here's the important part. That our levels are in real people. Crowd science, the art and the benefit of crowd science, it isn't me selecting, which is very typical in science. You select people, you recruit them, participants, you have an inclusion, exclusion criteria, and you compare two groups. We're literally mapping the world. It's real people who said, I want to do that test. There is no exclusion. So whether you're black, white, tall, short, whatever it is, man, woman, making your mind up, we've tested everything. And everyone. And there's a power to that that's way more significant than any small laboratory-based test. And so typically validated products with measurable outcomes. You know that. You know the principle, let's just say with balance test, you take your balance test. You take your balance oil. 120 days later you test and see the improvement that you've made. By the way, statistically, if you take balance oil every day for 120 days, you will be in the 97.8% of people who go from whatever score to less than 4 to 1 and above 8%. Now, I shouldn't have to say this to you, but I'm going to say it to you. It only works if you take it. Having a nice collection of balance oil bottles in your cupboard or fridge doesn't do anything for your health. Okay? That's an important part. We know what you do. And then you go, I'm going to take a little bit, and then some days I'll take more, but then I forget, and I'll take 3 on Saturday. No. Just take the 0.15 mil per kilogram body weight per day. That's you good. It's a simple habit. It's like getting up in the morning, making your bed, take your balance oil. And then we brought in, this is our flagship, and it's very likely to remain our flagship for some time. If I'm really honest, if the gut test delivers half of what we expect, we're probably going to have 2 global pioneering tests that are just going to change the way health is done on the face of the earth. But this is our flagship, and what we see consistently is the change that we expect to make when people consume the product. But also remember, every decision we make is backed by what the peer-reviewed literature says. It's everything that is out there. And someone just the other day said to me, 6:3 ratio, is there any research on that? And I checked it again this morning. And currently, and you might want to tell people this if they ask you, because I've never heard about it. Currently, there are 2.3 million peer-reviewed research articles on the omega-6-3 ratio. So if you meet that person who says, I've never heard of this, why don't I know? Say, I don't know. There's over 2 million articles. You're meant to be the scientist. You should know about this stuff. But we do know about it. And that takes me into this, chip and test-based nutrition. We are the #1 global brand in test-based nutrition. This quote from the bottom just last year, no other wellness brand is delivering measurable, evidence-based improvements to personal health at this scale. Businessforhome.org. And our direct-to-consumer model is what we should be proud of. Never ever lose your pride in that status. I know that some people have a cynical attitude around direct sales, which I find fascinating. Because there are lots of companies whose products I own. There are lots of online shops who I will use, particularly if I'm going to buy a book. And they have the poorest ethical standards in how they go about their business. And everyone knows that. I'll make you some promises right now. We have nothing to do, we are not invested in any kind of production that creates any kind of slave labour conditions in any single part of the world. We are not taking advantage, nor are we disadvantaging any part of the world to manufacture any part of our products. But if we're all going to look each other in the eye and be honest, probably 99% of this room has got something in their pocket. They might even be filming this presentation that does exactly that. So the next time someone in front of you says, direct sale, not so sure about that, just wave your phone in their face and go, you're happy about this? Look at the shoes they've got on. If it's a certain American sports brand who's the biggest sports brand in the world, you might want to check your ethics. And if you're buying books from a certain place online that gives 0-hour contracts to people and is driving people into poverty, maybe not the best either. So don't talk to me about the morality of industry, because it's based on the company and not the type. We are, without doubt, one of the most supportive, proactive, ethical companies in the world. We treat our staff excellently. We believe in the culture, the family that we've built all over the world. We're here to support your success, enable your success, and we want everybody to do well and have the very best available nutrition. That's right at the core of what we do. And if people can't respect that for what it is, then you're certainly not going to encourage them and get them to take a blood test if you can't get past that hurdle. So always be proud of what we do. We are super proud of what we do and how we do it. It's about getting past all the fake aspects and having real conversations with real people and putting them right in front of the experts who do the work. And if you've got any doubt remaining in your mind about what I'm saying, I'd like you all to take on this challenge. You can do it today or you can do it tomorrow. You can phone up either Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple, get on the phone and say, I'd like to speak to your CEO and the Chief Product Officer. I'll leave you with it. Tell me how you get on. More than just supplements, we have a health protocol. What does that mean? Is that just fancy language? No. We understand the problems there are with diets, how people eat, what's missing. Typically, 65 to 80% of what people eat is processed and ultra-processed food, high in calories, low in nutrition. What do? We put back everything that's missing. And we focus all of our attention on food functionality. I haven't got time, I wish I did. But if you get balance oil, I don't even call balance oil a supplement anymore. Balance oil is singularly the highest grade extra virgin olive oil you can buy with a proprietary blend of fish oil in there and vitamin D. It's food. You can put it on your salad, you can take it in your serving. Balance oil is food. It has a food matrix. When it's in your mouth, it triggers enzymes in the stomach to say, right, polyphenols, phytonutrients are coming your way. Get those absorptive pathways engaged. It's food. If you go to xenobiotic, it's a blend of dietary fibers. And why? Because different parts of the bacteria in your gut need different types of fibers. And so we make sure that they all get something from the banquet. And second to that, there's the super detail in xenobiotic. What is it? What makes xenobiotic that little bit more magical? Room full of Zinzino people, and not one pair. No, I don't know, Colin. Is it a big wizard's hat?
10 different fibers.
No. That's amazing. But what is the magic of it?
It works.
But why does it work? It's the same in Extend. We add something in there.
All natural.
There's the natural part, but the key part is the beta-glucan. So the beta-glucan gives your immune system a nudge, but no inflammation. And why is that important? Because when your immune system upregulates, it calls upon all the circulating nutrients. It says we need to draw these down. The problem with a lot of multivitamins and supplements is that they circulate, but the body never takes them on. They just go through and out. The beta-glucan, so you look at the ratio of the formulation plus the beta-glucan, you literally take a product that says to your body, you need to absorb these nutrients. It's incredible. The formulation is, I would say, when you look at Extend, the single most intelligent multivitamin in the world. And xenobiotic is to address in the gut what balance oil is to address in the cell. And so we have a protocol. Then we look at things like Viva, which is managing mood and stress. It's multi-targeted, synergistic. We consider this. It's not just about take this for that. It's how all of these things together are far more significant than what they are on their own. And they're real-world solutions. And I promise you, once you start to engage in this and you're consistent with it, you start to think and feel differently. Success is a multiplier. What you put out will start to come back. Independent, transparent testing. We use an independent lab. It's double-blinded. They don't know who you are. We don't know who you are. Only you know it's your test. It's the highest standard of accuracy of dry blood spot sampling there is to detect those measures, refined through constant evaluation. It's confidential. We don't test for anything other than what you've asked us to do. And the key part is we test things that are relevant. You ask us to look at something that matters to you that you can actually do something about. So it's perfect. It's all in line with something that can enable you to make a positive change. It's not just information for the sake of information. The independent part is critical because often people will say, well, what do you do with the data? And we can honestly look them in the eye and say, what we do with the data is we tell you what your status is, we put it into a big database and we just do some comparisons around the world, we map how the world looks, and that's it. And the best part is because it's so independent and because it's so confidential, we're not breaking any GDPR, we're not compromising you, but we are informing the world about the reality of health status. And most importantly, how you can positively change health status. It's really important. We spend so much time with it now. We've made acquisitions in recent times. We are future-proofing ourselves. We own the single best olive oil production there is in the world, with a tree that's 1,000 years old that's still bearing fruit. We've invested hugely in future tech. We're going to literally change the way in which the omega-3s are extracted from the algae, how we can nurture that so that it's ethical, sustainable, ecological, and even more functionally effective for everyone that we work with. We're constantly looking at this. And we constantly consider our global impact when it comes even to transport. We only use clean, traceable, premium-grade ingredients. Believe me, the MSC certification, even around collagen boost, most people won't do that because it's such a hassle. It takes so much time to do. But to us, it's important because the ethical aspect of it and the quality means everything in what we do. And we stand by our standards. And backed by practitioners. And they come to us. We don't go to them. More and more doctors, medics, surgeons, health practitioners, functional health practitioners, researchers, football teams, high-profile sports, organisations are coming to us all the time. I told people yesterday, I don't know, how many people were here yesterday? Just quickly. So quite a lot. For those who weren't, I was explaining about Manchester City Football Club and how we got that deal with them. And in simple terms, I'll just tell you quickly, the way we got the deal with Manchester City Football Club is Manchester City Football Club rung us up and said, can we buy some of your omega-3 because it's the best in the world. That's how we got the deal. The reason why we partnered with the University of Bath, the University of Bath is a top 10 globally ranked university who've got one of the world's leading departments on human metabolism. Let me tell you how that relationship started. Professor Dylan Thompson, who's the head of that department, called me up and said, Col, I've heard about the work you're doing at Zinzino. Any chance we can have a meeting? We'd love to be your research partner. That's how we got that deal with the University of Bath. So we attract the attention of all the right people because when you scratch the surface and you see what we do, you see not only is it authentic and real and verified and backed by science, but it's also being done at the highest possible standard. So anyone is welcome to challenge. That's how science is done. And we welcome that. Ask questions. But it's important to recognise if you want to criticise, you better be prepared to prove your point. Because right now, there's no one even close to us, no matter what they say. And remember, marketing is very different to facts. Marketing can sell you anything. You know, marketing throughout the 1950s, 60s, and 70s literally convinced people to have the worst possible foods in the world. So there's more to life than marketing. Our marketing is all about delivering our message and making it clear and making it real. This is checked, verified. If you put in how do we compare against all the other global leading brands, this is what comes out. There is what you'd want to compare against the categories: personalised blood testing, clinical grade formulations and products, scientific transparency, global scale with coaching, multi-system health protocol, customer empowerment. And that last part is really important. Tick, 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 tick. No one else gets as many ticks or even a clear shot across those categories. All of this summarises why you are the best at what you do. Take a picture of that screen. If there's ever a moment you doubt yourself, if you have a challenging conversation with a potential customer or partner or someone you're trying to sign in, and you're feeling low, load that picture up and go, no, actually, we're okay. Remember, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't always make it drink. It's your mission is to try and reach as many people as you can. You won't reach everyone. That's just the way the world is. People have freedom of choice, and we should embrace that. And for us, all of this ties into where I'm going to finish, which is with our vision. Remember, you have sight. You're able to see. But it's through the mind that we have vision. Because vision is where you stop, you press pause, and you start to imagine the world that you want to create. And the world that we want to create is whereby success is rewarded, acknowledged, celebrated. Where people do well by doing well, by fostering better health and empowering people to fulfill their lives and have the best quality of life for as long as possible. If you're ever in doubt, that's what you really do. If someone says, "What do you do for a living?" Tell them you're doing all that. And if they're not impressed, they're not for you. Thank you very much for listening.